Hello, my friends on YouTube. I'm very sorry I was away for a while and I did not do the weekly videos that I'm used to. So, anyway, let's start. Today, I would like to speak about Asia Bibi and the Muslim invasion of the subcontinent of India. In the beginning, I would like to thank the person. His name is Karan Kumar. I hope I'm pronouncing the name correctly. I received the book, I read it. It's very informative. It's about the Muslim invasion of the subcontinent of India. Let's start. There is distinction. Before we start, there is actually I on purpose say the Muslim, not the Arabs. The reason is, if you really think carefully, the Arabs are honorable people and they were living in Arabia, and most of them they were very educated, and they used to send their children, believe it or not, to study overseas. So these educated people, when Muhammad came in Mecca, the center of trade, these people were not just merchants. Some of them were poets, some like they had all kind of doctors. So they were not just merchants, they were really influential people of dignity and honor. And when Muhammad started his business of Islam, I call it business because it was business, and he used military means to achieve his goal of business. I mean, if somebody reads his stuff and just take that halo, because we put like glasses with a halo, Muhammad, Allah, and then we read everything as if it's from God. But if you really forget about these glasses and think of this religion or this book, and the whatever you're reading is made by somebody other than the leader of your faith, you will then see all the nonsense there. Okay, enough of that. Let's go back to the main point. Muslims and Arabs. The Arabs rejected Muhammad. They could see that he stole few verses from the Old Testament, few from the New Testament, put them in a poetic way, which is not so difficult if you lived in Arabia back then. And here is a book. Let's follow me. And he wanted them to follow him not for a religion. He had an objective in his head to reach. That objective was world domination. World domination. So they rejected him, but they let him speak of his faith, and whatever you want to do, you want to tell people that you received the revelation, go ahead. It doesn't bother us, but we are not interested. In about 13 years, he gathered about 120 followers of the people that they really more illiterate than him. They had nothing, practically. And at the end, out of his frustration, he started to insult the Arabs and their religion and their faith. This when the time came and they told him leave. So he left. He left Mecca and he traveled to an area called Medina. What happened in Medina is he was in contact with a group of people called Salik. It's actually the meaning of this word is close to bastards. Most of the people uh, of this group were actually fatherless. Uh, in Arabia back then, because many people coming and going from different country and different culture, there were something called homes or houses with a red banner on top. A red banner on a house, that means this is a prostitution house. There was no contraception back then, so people coming from different countries or different region, they will go to that house. Women are waiting. Sometimes these women get pregnant, but because they are not interested in that baby, they will throw him out on the street. So they were like street kids. And street kids, because no father, no mother is taking care of them, oftentimes they actually become criminals. When they commit a crime, they will be kicked out of the town because people don't want to be don't bother themselves with criminals around them. So what happened to these people? These criminals, or some of them actually also from good families, but they committed a crime, and because the family has to take care of its honor and dignity, they will kick out that son who committed that kind of crime, whether it's stealing or adultery or what have you. They will kick him out of town, and they all gather in a mountain called Mount Tuhama in Arabia. The way they supported themselves, they will actually go and raid the caravans, the merchant caravans, and loot their wealth. And they go drink and whatever, waste the money, and that's it. Living like that. So Muhammad, he knew that these people are doing business. So he got in contact with them and he told them, come, I'm now in Medina, and let's work together, and you keep percent, you give me 1/5 of the booties, you keep 80%, you divide it among yourselves, and I'll make you the plans. He was a good military leader, definitely. So he used to devise the plan, and they used to go either. Sometimes he would go with them if it's a big battle, a big looting. He will go with them, they will fight, he will take 20%, let them divide the rest among themselves. 20% of the women, 20% of the boys, he can sell the boys. Why do you think there were slave markets? He will sell the boys, gets extra money, and whatever you do with your boys and girls and women, everyone is free to do it, to do whatever they want to do with it, with them. So the people that they gathered around him, it was not the Arabs. The people who really wanted to go out, fight, loot, and get easy money, they were these bastards, the outlaws, if you will. Okay? These were not the Arabs. Later on, when he became strong and he had a strong army, he invaded even his hometown Mecca, and there was many people actually didn't want to accept Islam, so they preferred to die, so they were killed, and some surrendered. They said, well, I will pronounce Islam as a religion from God, and let me live and let my family live, and I'll pay you the taxes, or it's called zakat. I'll pay you uh, your fee, leave me alone. So after that, after he conquered Arabia, then his group continue east and west, north and south, looting, stealing, and it's all under the banner spreading the religion of Allah, taking women as sex slaves. Allah permitted us to have that. So we are all aware of what happened in Egypt. Not all, but I mean many people are aware that the Muslims have committed so much atrocity in Egypt, North Africa, and in Spain. But what we are not really aware of so much is how much atrocity these Muslims have committed in the subcontinent of India. And that book that I received about jihad, uh, as I was told, that book actually is forbidden to be shared on Facebook and on YouTube. So it was sent to me by email. Uh, so I cannot put it in the description. It was very informative to show the atrocity that what they did in the in India, and how the Indian people fought against them. However, Pakistan and Bangladesh it's practically Muslims, both of them. How did they become Muslim? Is not because they wanted to. The great grandparents of these people, the men were slaughtered, the men were killed, the women were taken as sex slaves. So each Muslim fighter will actually have, I don't know how many, you can have as many as you want. I mean, there is no limit on sex slaves. Wives you can have up to 4, but sex slaves, the sky is the limit. So he can have 1,000, 2,000, 10,000. As they finish the battle, if I have 200 women from before, and we finish the battle, and there's 1,000 warrior, but 10,000 women, then each get 10 more, 10 women more. They are divided like that, evenly between them. If Muhammad was still alive, he will get 20%, 1/5 of whatever number of women. So when you kill the men and take the women as sex slaves, some women get pregnant. Their sons and daughters are Muslims automatically, because she conceived of a Muslim man, even if it's her, if it was rape or against her wish, or it doesn't matter. The child is Muslim, and if he leaves Islam, then the penalty is death. Muhammad said, whoever changed his religion from Islam to something else, kill him, plain and simple. One of his hadith. Okay, so I'm giving this introduction so that you get to know what happened to Asia Bibi. Asia Bibi is a Pakistani woman. She is Christian. She kept her faith despite of all that happened in the subcontinent of India. The people who kept their faith, they were harassed, they were accused of insulting the Prophet or insulting Islam, and they will be giving the choice. It's either you convert to Islam and repent, convert to Islam and take it as your religion forever and your children after you, or we will kill you. So there's 1.5% in Pakistan until now. This minority, with all the atrocity that happened and all the persecution and all of the murder that took place, kept their faith. Because in the Quran, actually, it says the non-believers should give jizya. Jizya, it doesn't have translation. Some Muslim try to make it sound good. They say, oh, it's taxes. No, it's not taxes. Muslim pay taxes. Non-Muslim pay something called jizya, which is about half of your earning. So you pay jizya, and the way you pay it, you go to the leader, Muslim leader, the caliphate, and if I am non-Muslim, my hand will be down. I will have the money in my hand will be down, and the caliphate, his hand will be up. He will take the money. After he takes the money, he will spit in the mouth of the non-Muslim and slap him on the back of his neck to um, as as a humiliation, a mean of humiliating that person. That was the tradition to those who did not convert to Muhammadism or Islamism. So we come to Asia Bibi. Asia Bibi, she is one of these people who, despite of all that, kept her faith. Okay, if you don't believe in God or in religion, fine with me. If you are any other type, if you worship a dog, fine with me. But people should not be persecuted like that. So anyway, Asia Bibi was not, and probably she will not be the last. Many, many, many people in the subcontinent of India have suffered that fate until recently, and we didn't hear of them. Asia Bibi was supposed to have been killed since 2010. However, because of the media and the subject came out in the whole world, Pakistan and the judges of Pakistan, the court in the Supreme Court was in a very difficult situation. If they kill her, then the whole world eyes will be towards Pakistan, and there will be sanction, and it will collapse. That if they kill her, but if they don't kill her, the same problem, because these judges are Muslim judges, and they were appointed by Muslim election to carry out the Muslim law, the Sharia, and they did not. So now there is actually, Asia Bibi went to Canada about 2 weeks ago, and I hope somebody sent me a comment that already, I don't know, I hope he's wrong, but he said some people already left Pakistan behind her and they know where she's going and they're going to kill her. I hope the Canadian government protect her and protect her well. I hope that will not happen. This woman was actually suffered 9 years in prison, far away from her husband, far away from her 2 daughters, and the treatment in prison so humiliating. Even if you are in a prison that is 5-star hotel, still humiliation. 9 years of humiliation that she didn't know if she will live or die. Okay, and finally she was acquitted, and then the Muslims who came from Arabia, those that they were in the mountains, they came out, wanted her dead. The judges had to retreat, and they said, we will look into her case, her situation again, to calm the situation in Pakistan. And during this time, they arranged her travel to Canada secretly. Now, Pakistani people are not so happy with that. They are not pleased with their government. So now we we have a saying in Egypt that the black magic now works against the magician. That terrorization, that way of terrorizing people, is actually returning to the government of Pakistan, because you have these militant Muslim on the street protesting. There will be bloodshed, and it will be bad. You started that with your teaching. See how it will end. See you again.